Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. And Bring on the Bad Guys, Loki, issue number one. Not really. Go back and see some of the other Bring on the Bad Guys reviews I've done to explain what this actually is. Red Skull comes out immediately after this, Dormammu after that, and then Mephisto. And that should round everything up and bring us back to the beginning with Doctor Doom again. Yay. For I'm going to talk about who made this comic book first, and then we'll get into some story, and then a little bit of backstory. So, to start this off, this issue, for all of you Cthulhu fans, this issue is called The King in Yellow. Oh, yeah, baby. We went there. So, the writer is Anthony Oliveira. The artist is Jethro Morales. The color artist is Yen Nitro. And VC's Travis Lanham did the letters for both stories in here. What's the second story? It's called The Last Lord of Darkness, and it's by Mark Guggenheim, Michael Stamara, and Dano Sanchez Alvara. Uh, Mariah for the artist, not the color artist. Anyway, Loki was created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, and Jack Kirby. Um, what do you call it? And that last story is The Last Lord of Darkness. Anyway, the cover artist for this. There's a whole bunch of variant covers out here, but the main cover is done by Lee Bermejo. And why would you want to go with anybody else? All right? Not to diss any of the other guys, but holy crap, Lee freaking Bermejo. So I love this story. Loki is rescued by Mephisto from being in chains and having the snake drip venom in his eyes. Anybody who's familiar with some of the mythology for Thor, and some of us who are familiar with the actual Norse mythology, right, know that this is the punishment. And whoever rescues or however Loki escapes from this punishment, that's going to be one of the signs of Ragnarok, right? And Mephisto clearly emphasizes that. Oh, now that I just kind of started one of the, brought everybody one step closer to Ragnarok. I love that was mentioned. We've got Loki being treated the way that he's supposed to be treated because of who he is. Look, I know a lot of people think of a Flash Thompson, a jock, who's usually going to be a bully. In reality, I've always noticed that jocks are more of the guys who just did what they were doing and didn't care about you. You never appeared on their radar, right? If you were one of the jocks, you're probably agreeing with me. I was never a jock, but I did realize pretty early on I had to be on a sports team of some sort, right? It gets you popularity, but it also gets you the sense of completion, right? Being a martial artist since I was 14 years old. Actually, technically since I was 8, but when I was 14 is when I really, really, really got into it. So that's, the beginning of high school. Getting into track and field, I was part of chess club when I was younger. We played Dungeons and Dragons there, but quickly realized that's not very popular. So I did that stuff in private, hiding. You know what I'm saying? With people I would never talk to in school, But anyway, and the wrestling team, of course. Getting onto actual sports teams, they do a lot for you. If you're a kid, get into a sports team. If you are an adult, get your kid into a sports team. I'm just saying, it's going to do so much for their confidence and their sense of actually not just completing things, but actually trying to become successful, trying to be the best. Loki is that guy who got beaten up by everybody. Loki is the guy who didn't just put itching powder in the jock straps of the actual athletes, the people who could. He put alligators in there. Hence Alligator Loki. Loki in this is tasked with going down to Earth in old school France and finding this guy who's a descendant of the Order of Khonshu and take his soul with one of these daggers, right? Again, go look at some of the old, the earlier comic books or my reviews, any of my reviews. I talk about why these daggers are so important. So, especially to Bring on the Bad Guys Doom, which is the first of these issues. So, but Loki's going to do it with his own flair. He does it by finding this guy who is good at playing the fiddle and dancing and singing, and he's going to make him do a play called The King in Yellow. There's so much that could have been done with this comic book, and the best part is it was. I love pretty much everything that was done in this comic book. It was absurdly amazing. Anyway, Loki, much like how he's being written now by Al Ewing, he's not going to just do a deed. He's going to be telling a story. And it's ticking off Mephisto. It is what it is. Anybody who thinks that Loki can beat up Mephisto, you are completely wrong, especially in his own realm, but even outside of his realm. Loki is not a match for Mephisto. He's coming nowhere near what Mephisto can do. Just keep that in mind. And from one Lord of the Lies to the other, Loki got something over on Mephisto. We'll see how that plays out. Anyway, Mephisto didn't exactly look upset by the end of this. I think he knew what he was doing because it's Mephisto. Anyway, the way that all this plays out is really good. The resolution of this was great. The story and how this all keeps on playing out is absolutely fantastic. It's basically like a Prince and the Pauper story with a story being told in the middle of it. I'm going to say one other thing about this comic book, and specifically about Anthony Oliveira. Anthony Oliveira is a GLAAD nominated or GLAAD winning artist. So he's done a bunch of stuff with the LGBTQ and all the other letters that follow suit. I am not gay. I do not hate gay people, right? By all of those different things, I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in any agendas, but I'm also not here to protest you. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's like, yeah, you exist, I exist, just like that guy exists and that girl exists. It is what it is. I'll be nice to you and I will move on with my life, and I hope you do the same, and that's with everybody. That being said, I don't want to read a gay comic book. Now, what is a gay comic book? Go look what Cena Grace did with Iceman. He ruined that character. A lot of people like to think that Brian Michael Bendis ruined Iceman by making him gay. I don't know that he ruined him, but he opened him up to be ruined. And Cena Grace dug that nail so deep into the freaking grave, it's ridiculous, right? Bad guys fighting everywhere, and Iceman's just thinking about his next gay Tinder hookup. Yeah, you want to write a bad gay character, just make him a sexual predator, a sexual pervert. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's exactly what Grace did. That is not what Anthony Oliveira did. All right? I'm not usually happy seeing all the, gay romance stuff like Oliveira did in the Secret Empire stuff. Secret Empire, I think that was what it was. Anyway, the one stuff where, the Hulkling becomes the king of the Skrull and Kree Empire, right? That did nothing for me. It was like, ew, it kind of took me out of it. It was a bit much. And yes, ew. I said ew, all right? Just like if a gay person is watching straight porn, probably not interested, right? Ew. I've heard them say that. So, anyway, in this, there is some subtlety, some innuendo. Much like the way Jim Shooter told John Byrne, hey, I know you like to do a lot of perverted stuff, and I know everybody loves John Byrne. He's such a great artist, damn good writer also. Okay, sure. You look at She-Hulk, she used to be the savage She-Hulk. Then she just became the sexualized She-Hulk, right? Hey, sure, you're the Juggernaut, you're evil and do all these bad things everywhere, but man, apparently you're a good lay. Yeah, that's disgusting and that's debasing, and I don't need a She-Hulk like that. I really hope that when the Planet She-Hulk comes out, it's not just her going around and finding more people to sleep with, because that's ew, right? Not interested in seeing that nonsense. I want to see, this is a great opportunity for her to be built up. When that book comes out, I'll read it. We'll hope that it comes there. In this, there's innuendo. There's no scenes with this, descendant of Khonshu doing things with this other guy, but it's implied. It's not even heavily implied. But I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be some gay stuff in here, right? And there wasn't. They didn't show that. Obviously, this guy was moved. He was moved by what happened and all of this stuff. I think that has something to do with where the story goes, where the soul is and whatnot, right? The you missed line in here, you got to read it, guys. You got to read this comic book. I think that's what had a lot to do with what happened in here, but the comic book wasn't excessive in any way. Look, I don't know Anthony Oliveira. I imagine he's gay if he's writing all these gay things, getting nominated and winning glad stuff. Cool, cool. You want to have stuff like that in there? Awesome. Make a North Star. Back under the Jim Shooter days where it's implied. We don't need anything more than that. I don't need to see Captain America or anybody else getting in bed with any, female character. That's not why I read comic books. It's never been why I read comic books, Go out and get a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. Go do whatever it is you need to do outside of comic books. But I don't need to be reading essentially smut. You get what I'm saying? And that is not at all what happens in here. I think if, whatever with Sin of Grace, it is what it is. Okay. But I will say that if Anthony Oliveira were writing Iceman, I would give that a shot. I would absolutely give it a shot. There's going to be a relationship in there, whatever. He's going to be trying to find somebody. Okay, whatever. As long as we're not seeing literally gay stuff happening in the book where it's just like, this is excessive. Just like I don't want to see, I guess you'd call it straight stuff. I don't want to see actual intercourse or anything like that. I don't want to see a bunch of swapping of spit. You know what I'm saying? A peck, a kiss. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. I can read through that. But I'm just not interested in seeing smut. Not straight, not gay. And unfortunately, too many gay comics means they're going to be heavily for a gay audience and not for the rest of us. Yeah, I want comics to be accessible to everybody. You want to do things specifically for people? Cool. Put it on the front so I don't accidentally buy something that I'm going to feel like I wasted my money for or on, right? This comic book was incredible in every sense of the imagination. So I'm going to say that the next time I see something that Oliveira does, I'm going to be picking it up. I'm going to be checking it out because I'm really impressed with the way he handled the subtlety of having his character in here be gay and you barely even notice. He was just a regular human being. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that world. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. And I saw it, and I'm ready for more. Guys, grab this comic book. So worth it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.